What's going on, everybody? Byrdman here with another Outriders video. Today we're doing a top 5 best expeditions in all of Outriders. Now this is going to include the base game as well as the New Horizon update. Since that was a free update, it is fair game since everyone has access to those expeditions. Now I'm going to be basing my choices off of the overall challenge, the concept, and the difficulty of the final boss. Now, some of these expeditions I'm going to choose don't have like an actual named final boss, but the challenge of them is what really helps set them apart. If you have a favorite expedition that I didn't put on this list, know that you can comment down below and let me know. I know you can follow me over on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at Byrdman778. Right now I'm streaming every single day starting at noon Eastern Standard Time. So swing on by, let's vibe out, hang out, all that fun stuff. I've been really enjoying being able to play with different people in chat as well. You know, get our apocalypse levels up a little bit higher. I'm not doing the exploit or the cheese or anything, but we're just doing it naturally. You know, it's sometimes fun to just do it naturally. And speaking of things that are natural, I want to say thank you to our new sponsor and partner of the channel, and that is going to be Advanced GG. They are an amazing company. They're only clinically proven gaming supplement to show improved game performance, green tea caffeine, 4 to 6 hours of energy, no sugar. It's just amazing all around. I'm going to be putting a giveaway in the comments, so just comment what your favorite flavor is, and know you can use code BYRD30 until this upcoming Thursday for 30% off. Now, let's get right on into our selections. At number 5, we're going to have Paxion Homestead. This is one of the original expeditions in Outriders. It was one of the first ones that really did challenge my subs and my builds. When you started the first section of it, you're going to be fighting some brood mothers, crawlers, birds, and just regular perforos all around. So it really does lay on the difficulty for at least the Beast of Enoch. And once you move into the second section, you're going to be fighting a bunch of captains, demolishers. You're getting the melee dudes that freeze you whenever they hit you. You got the, guys that put the shields around themselves while they shoot you. It really does lay on the difficulty factor. When it comes to the overall concept of this and the way it's leveled, I really enjoy the first section. It just uses kind of like tunnels and paths to make your move your way up and down. You move into the second section, kind of similar, something like that, except it feels like kind of like a market in a way, and then the finale feels like almost like this throne to the boss itself. But the concept of it is it's kind of like a murder mystery in a way. You're looking for this group of people that went missing, and as you're slowly going through these levels, you're kind of figuring out, something bad probably happened. This one also has probably one of the most terrifying bosses and one of the most terrifying creatures, I would say, that's in all of Outriders, and that's going to be the Blood Merchant. It's really scary, dude. He charges at you, shoots these blood spikes out of him. It's just overall really kind of chilling, as well as during this you're getting attacked by perforos, getting attacked by crawlers, alphas, and by the end you also have the birds. Now this is a double section of this boss, which I kind of find interesting. It's why it's probably lower down this list, that it kind of fills in the between here with all the brawlers, the larger brood creatures, and then again the crawlers and everything that's introduced in between there as well. But once you get to that second section, you're able to kind of nuke the boss pretty fast. Overall, I think this is just a really interesting one. It was a really fun one to do speed runs for at the beginning of the game. I always did those with Quest and Chadley. Make sure you're checking them out, good homies. But again, it was really fun and interesting, and that's why it's kind of way higher up on this list than a lot of the expeditions that might be fan favorites of other creators. At number 4, it's gonna be Boomtown. This is fan favorite of probably most people because it's one of the easiest expeditions to do speed runs with, and it's just a really digestible all around area. Doesn't really matter what character you're using. This is a very fast expedition. It's why a lot of people like it. It's probably why it has some of the lowest drop pod of resources as well. But the just experience of Boomtown is just a fun one because it's just really cool just to get to speed through something as fast as you humanly can and compare the times with other people. Difficulty wise, it's definitely gone down over time when the expedition timer wasn't active for what exactly loot you would get from the end of it. I really do like that, but at the same time, it does kind of bring that overall difficulty out of it. But the concept of it, these insurgents that are taking over an area and having a party and you're kind of busting it is just really funny all around. And by the end, you're going to be fighting the homie Dr. Detonator. This guy has been somebody I've been trying to one-shot as much as I humanly can since the game first came out. Just really enjoyable all-around experience. I like the final area, even though it is kind of challenging at times. I mean, if you don't nuke Dr. Detonator fast enough, you're going to have those riflemen on the other side of the map just ending your existence. So it's definitely one where if you're faster and better built you are, the easier it's going to be, but it can be challenging. So again, all around concept, really funny, challenge is there, even though it's kind of like a little bit lower than it used to, and end game is just really fun. At number 3, we're going to be having the Martial Complex. Now, this is a really interesting one because it's kind of just like grit and grind the entire time. I'm going to start with like talking about the concept of this, the fact that you're going to this facility that's being run, and there's kind of like this like almost like R&D going on where they're like messing with lasers, and you're just kind of like, you know, fighting all the dudes just to get into the complex itself. All the different areas are just absolutely stacked with captains. I mean, once you beat the first room, you essentially spend the rest of the time fighting demolishers and captains doing their different abilities. So really fun and interesting concept. Again, definitely checks the box for difficulty, since essentially it's got its foot on the gas most of the time. Once you get in the beast area, you have to fight a bunch of alphas and a broodmother, and then once you get into the area after that, it is literally like 4 to 5 vanguard captains, as well as some demolishers, and the legendary Captain Stink Eye, who is really just sniping you from across the map most of the time. It's kind of crazy, but if you're able to get a good group together or just have a solid build all around, it isn't too difficult. I remember running this over on my Twitch channel, and constantly having a lot of people get knocked and stuff from all the captains that are in here, but thank God I'm Devastator most of the time that I'm able to tank a lot of that damage. Again, I definitely wanted to have a lot of those captains because, again, if there is an R&D facility where there's testing out a bunch of lasers and stuff, I hope there's plenty of guards there. So it's fun to have that, and again, it really does have that difficulty on there. Now, when it comes to the boss, it has more of that concept that I was mentioning before, of where we're only fighting really a bunch of random variety of ads versus one singular boss. But I think that's really cool. I mean, you're having to fight like 4+ Perforos, a bunch of crawlers, and 2 different broodmothers. So it definitely has that difficulty factor. It's definitely got a cool concept of the fact that you're just sort of hiding all these just like terrible beasts to test on. Now we have to fight them. But it's also really interesting that we have this really cool Easter egg with the People Can Fly headquarters. So again, this was introduced in the New Horizon update. I think this is one of the most unique things they ever did, from pretty much moving on from that. Now we have next Molten Depth. This is probably my favorite expedition. It ended up number 2 spot mainly because the next one that we were going to choose, it just overall has a better concept all around. But Molten Depth was really cool from the get-go for me. The fact that we start on the top level where everything is just frozen over and slowly move our way down into this lava pit where there's this giant Akari spider is really interesting. We're having to fight broodmothers, we're having to fight birds, we're having to fight behemoths, we have a bunch of alphas. And again, it's kind of like that, like I would say the other side of the coin of Martial Complex, where versus having a bunch of like shooting enemies, we just have like an onslaught of all the beast enemies. I mean, we pretty much fight literally every single one possible in this entire encounter, which I just think is literally the coolest thing ever. And again, I mentioned the concept before, we're going from snow to lava over time. I think that's just really interesting. The biggest thing holding it back is this section right here where we're having to stand on a pillar to make the giant ice wall slowly melt. Now, the reason why it kind of like stands out a little more, again, you're trying to melt the giant ice wall while standing on this pillar. Haha, I get it. It's fine. But overall, I just really hate how much they have forced us to do a lot of these stand on pillar mechanics. But luckily, the overall, again, concept of this one kind of makes it stand out. Now, when it comes to the final boss, obviously I mentioned we're fighting the giant spider Akari. I am not a fan of spiders whatsoever, but the fact that I'm able to beat the living crap out of a giant molten one at the end of this makes it a very enjoyable experience. I also enjoy the fact that this boss has this style arena. I like the circle arena and the fact that sometimes he charges at you, has a lot of like mid attacks like that. But luckily, I mean, our character, especially like Devastator, has plenty of mobility, surprisingly enough. So we're able to kind of move around. You're able to get some pretty decent healing constantly from these smaller spiders that are constantly attacking you. Again, mainly a Devastator thing, but I think Trickster as well would benefit from this. But this is a really fun one to try to one-shot. It's a big reason why I love it. Just being able to get that quick one off is really interesting, as well as the fact it has a little Easter egg as well, where you go to a telephone and essentially get teleported like you're in the Matrix. I think that is just like the weirdest yet like coolest concept ever, to kind of have a Matrix Easter egg for in here for some reason. Again, our character is kind of like, you know, questioning their existence anyway, and then you put a Matrix spin on it. It's really funny. And at number 1 is City of Nomads. Again, I'm going to kind of start with the concept of this one, the fact that you are going through these ruins of this past Pax City, where it's filled with different enemies, such as, you know, the actual beasts of the map themselves. So we have to start from the beginning, immediately having to fight alphas and crawlers. I do find interesting as you progress through the rooms, you're having to start fight behemoths, and as well as the same exact enemies. But there are these skulls that are placed throughout the map that if you shoot all of them at the end, you get to fight a secret boss. I think that is the coolest thing ever, and I want them to have more of that in these games. It really does help make it stand out, because again, there's no like kind of like raid level boss that is just like hidden inside of any other map. So the fact that this one kind of has that, you can do, you know, just going through it as is. You don't have to fight the boss, you don't have to shoot all these skulls throughout the map to, you know, get your loot. But if you want to challenge yourself, you're able to do that at the end. Is really interesting. And the difficulty, again, is pretty much there. You're constantly having to fight alphas, behemoths, crawlers, and then once you get into the people section, it is just colossuses, as well as different vanguard captains. So you're definitely have to fight everybody. It ends off with a giant beast fight again, where again you're having to fight a brood mothers, as well as like Strixes shooting you from a distance. Again, it just kind of like takes all the different difficulty things throughout the game and kind of like just chucks them in there. I do enjoy it a lot, but again, the Easter egg of it is probably what carries it the most for me. I really just enjoy the fact that I'm able to fight this like super difficult enemy. It's one of the axe dudes that's from Eye of the Storm as well, so you almost get kind of like an homage to that in a way, as well as the overall theme is kind of something Dark Souls related. So if you're a Souls fan, this is definitely the map for you. Thanks so much for stopping by this video. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. Again, make sure you're using code BIRD30 until Thursday for 30% off. After that, it'll just be code BIRD for 10% off. But regardless, make sure you're snacking some advanced GG. I'll be having a tweet down below for a giveaway I'm doing over there, as well as the fact I'm going to be giving away 3 different $40 codes to people who comment down below. So make sure that you're commenting. Maybe put like a little like advanced GG, like, you know, like, I don't know, title or something, so I know that you actually watched to this point to know that we're doing this giveaway. But again, I appreciate everyone who's just been showing support to the channel. We're only able to get different sponsors like this because of you, so I really do appreciate it. Make sure you're following me over on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at Byrdman778. We're gonna be streaming every single day coming up here soon, so stop on by. Let's vibe out. Let's do some expeditions together and stuff like that. Again, tell me what your favorite ones are down below. But regardless, thank you so much. Have a great night, day, whatever it may be.